Yo, eating that Mr. Milk, man. Mr. Milk Taz coming back at you with another episode, splashing in the Fishbowl. On today's episode, back on the road, baby. Let's go. We back on the road, Yes, we are. We loving it like McDonald's. Alright, don't look like we're gonna get that going today. Yo.
Where I started. And guess what? Sold enough of these one day in August back in 2001, I think it was. I sold enough of these in August that I made $6,900 in one day in 45 minutes. I was like, oh, that was amazing. And so I said, let me put that thing on rinse and repeat, right? And so that's the first thing. You know how to do something. Maybe you know how to cook, right? Maybe that's what you teach me. You teach people how to cook. I don't know. Maybe you know how to but you know how to do something. You've solved it. You're not an adult. You're not even a teenager or somewhere else in the world, and you haven't figured out how to solve a problem. You know how to solve a problem. You know how to do something. But the problem is, because you're the one that knows how to do it, you think it's not valuable. You think because you know how to do it, everybody knows how to do it. And I am here to tell you, everybody does not know how to do everything you know how to do. Any more than you know how to do everything that anybody else knows how to do. Okay, so, cool. And you have a unique blend of experiences that give you the ability to do the next thing. So you study the right people, then you solve the right problem.
Yo.
You solve the right problem.
Hit that like button, fuck it up, man. Algorithm get up through there. Appreciate y'all for 6K subscribers on the way to 100K subscribers. How y'all doing today? Hope y'all splashing in Fishbowl. Hope y'all on your meeting that mission out there. Let's get it. Satchel on the way. We're on the way to pick up a satchel. Y'all know how we do.
So you watch them being
hit that like button for your man. Appreciate y'all sharing the videos and commenting on the
being frustrated.
And the reason I say fast matters is because we here today, but one day is gonna be our last day. So make sure you ain't out here regretting shit, not enjoying shit. You know, get to it. And that's why I say fast matters. We gotta get these millions right now. So we gotta get these millions right now so we can enjoy these millions right now. You heard me? We can't be waiting till we old and talking about we retired and now we're gonna enjoy our good old days. No, we gotta get this money now. You heard me? That's why fast matters, because one day gonna be our last day. So we ain't got time to be, yes, come up with a 10-year plan, but also come up with a 5-year plan, a 2-year plan, a 6-month plan. You heard me? Millionaire mission, splash in the fishbowl. We on that, like we want that. Like I say, we on the way to pick up the satchel. If you missed reading from earlier, go watch the last video. I'll give y'all some more reading when I get over there. Right now, we're just trying to thank God we still on this side of the soil and soak up some good knowledge this morning.
So, the problem must be recognized.
You heard me?
The problem must be measurable. Like, when I say measurable, it has to have a monetary cost associated with having the problem, or you must be able to figure out a monetary cost of not being able to solve the problem. Reminds me of a friend of mine. Her name's Annie. First time I ever coached with her, she did not have a make money offer. She didn't have a weight loss offer. She didn't have a relationship offer. She had a, I'm going to help people get control over their alcohol offer. I'm going to help people get control over their alcohol. Okay, so She said to me, we were both speaking at a conference, she said to me, I've got my conference coming up in 2 weeks, my event. I said, how many people are coming to it? She said, 170. I said, oh, great. She said, yeah, do you have any tips for me? I said, depends. What are you selling? She said, I'm not selling anything. I said, is it okay if I coach you? She said, sure. I said, that is the worst idea I've ever heard in my life. I said, if you're not selling anything, what are you doing? She said, oh, I created this manual, it's 70 pages, and we're going to go through the manual at the workshop. I said, can I coach you again? She said, yeah. I said, that is the second worst idea I've ever heard in my life. She said, what should I tell? I said, well, here's the problem. If they don't pay, they won't play. What's that? Heart follows the pocketbook. If you tell them something, they're not going to take whatever your solution is seriously enough to go do it. Go. She said, well, what should I sell? I said, take the manual that you created and turn it into a coaching program. She said, how much should I sell it for? Like, you know, like she had so much aversion to this, you have no idea. I said, how much would make you smile?
We're Phoenix Energy, a family-owned oil company focused on unleashing American oil from North Dakota and Montana. We've already sold over 2.
Say, what's that called? That's called the smile test. How much would make you smile? She said, I don't know, $4,000. I said, great. Sell it for $6,000. She's like, what? She's like, what? Yeah, sell it for $6,000. But how do you do that? Well, I said, well, I got good news for you. I said, it just so happens, this is on a Saturday, and I know some of you are going to think this is really self-interested. Like the story. I said, it just so happens, this is on a Saturday now. We were in Nashville, Tennessee. I said, it just so happens, next Monday in Tampa, day after tomorrow, I teach people how to sell at their conferences. I said, it's only $25,000. And I said, and your husband, if you and Brian, y'all come to this event, I will teach you make that event profitable. And here's what I'm going to tell you. If you do what I say, if you come to this conference and you do what I say, you will do no less than $170,000 in sales at that event. She said, but how can you say that? I said, because I know how this works and I know what I'm going to teach you how to do, and I'm telling you that's what's going to happen. She's like, okay. So she moved her schedule around, changed her plane half of everything. Oh. So, is $6,000 less than half of everything? Yes. I said, have any of the spouses who divorced their partner because they couldn't get control over alcohol ever gotten a relationship with a new partner and she had children with the one she got divorced from? Yes. Have any of the new partners ever molested any of those children? Yes. It's real talk, it's sad, but it's real. I said, okay, how much would it be worth not to have your children molested? $6,000? Yeah, okay, good. You have to show them how much it could potentially cost them if they say no to your offer. Because that's real. That's a real tangible cost. I said, if any of those children who've ever been molested by the new partner ever committed suicide? Yes. How much is it worth for your child not to potentially commit suicide? This is real. This happens all the time, y'all. I'm not manipulating this. I'm just making her aware of what to make people aware of so they can know $6,000 are these potential outcomes. Are y'all tracking? She said, oh, I never thought of it like that. I said, I know, that's why you paid me, so I can help you think of it like that. So when you talk to people, they understand what's at stake. She made the offer, and guess what happened? She called me in tears. Myron, they came to me thanking me in tears for creating this offer. And she didn't do $170,000 in sales. She did $260,000 in sales. Because she clearly described she had a problem that we couldn't solve. They couldn't get control over alcohol. The problem was recognizable. The problem was measurable. I showed her how to measure not having the result. And the problem must be fixable. Well, the problem was fixable. She could fix the problem.
Yo, what are you doing watching me? Your brand isn't a joke in a sitcom. It's time to join the industry. Turn off the confusion for your audience.
Well, I mean, I can tell you more stories about Annie and the progress that she's made, the progress that she's made in other people's lives. It's mind-blowing. So, you have to study the right person, you have to solve the right problem, then you have to select the right presentation. Now, here's the right present. Most people's presentations are terrible. Did you know that? Most presentations. Let me ask you a question. Are most of the presentations you've seen in your life great or terrible? Terrible. So we all know that most presentations are terrible. But why doesn't anybody ask, why are most presentations terrible? In fact, here's what's really cool. So I'm talking to you right now, right, about finding a problem. Most presentations are terrible. That's a problem. There's a guy named Dan Roam, R-O-A-M. He wrote a book called Draw to Win, The Back of a Napkin, blah, blah, blah. He literally created a consulting business that, back when I first found out about him, was doing $2 million a year teaching business executives how to draw presentations on the back of a napkin. By drawing stick drawings and writing on, like, literally, he built a $2 million consulting practice, a best-selling book, a series of best-selling books. So, select the right presentation. The right presentation is going to outline the pain of the problem. And it's going to outline the pain to such a degree that they can feel the pain. Now, one of the things that outlining the pain does is it helps your prospect or your prospective customer conclude, this person understands my problem better than I do. If they perceive that you understand their problem better than they do, they're going to also conclude that you understand how to solve the problem. So it outlines the problem, but it outlines a painful problem. I mean, it outlines the painful present. The presentation outlines the painful present. It outlines the pleasurable payoff. So it shows them how good it's going to be when this pain is removed, and now they're in pleasure. Isn't that why we buy stuff? To get out of pain and to get into pleasure. Isn't that why we buy stuff? Isn't that why we make decisions, period? Yeah. And then it has to outline a practical plan. So you outline a practical plan. This is how we're going to go from pain to pleasure. You can't just say we're going to go from pain to pleasure. You have to show them this is what we're going to do to go from pain to pleasure. That's what the right presentation does. Then you have to sell the right product. The product's great. What you can expect. If you do what I say, you're going to make at least $170,000. Now, that's a bold statement for some people, but it wasn't a bold statement for me because I understand how my numbers work when I'm teaching people for conferences. Does that make sense? So, she said, so the product's perception must be stated. The product's power must be demonstrated. If you can demonstrate that the product works, you can demonstrate it either by video testimonials, written testimonials. If you have a product that's demonstrable, that's usable, you can demonstrate the product. Okay, and then it